Welcome students. In this video we will learn how to insert data into the database underscore applications 115 that we created over the weekend. So I will go over each and every table, insert data in each and every table, and then also retrieve the data from each and every table. Now you will also see this is the real cusp between the data modeling and the physical data model which gets created. So very important. Ask me questions again and again, and let me know via emails or a phone call or anything. Just let me know if you have any questions. Okay. Let's 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 be ready to rock and roll. Okay, so the first thing we will do is we will insert data for 3 employees working for the IT department. So the 3 employees will be inserted in the employee table. The supervisor of IT department is Coley, and who is also an employee. So he will be inserted in the supervisor table. We would not be inserting Coley into the employee table, and we will show you how you're maintaining redundant data, or you're maintaining redundant data. Sometimes it's needed, like I explained in my earlier classes. The employees work on a project. We wouldn't call Six Sigma. We would call the projects as OCNS and Discover, just on the fly. Okay. So I have already written the queries for us, but I will go step by step on how they will be executed and how you should be executing them. So the first thing, we highlight new query. I just write this: inserting employee data. See carefully, I have written 3 queries. I have written select into dbo.employee, which is the employee table. I will expand the employee table where we have ID, first name, last name, salary, and address. ID, first name, last name, salary, and address. You may wish to not insert anything in the null columns, or let's put it this way: the table allows you not to insert into the null column. So it's up to you, or it's up to the business if they want to insert into this table or not. But anyways, the values which we're inserting for one is my first name, which is very hard to pronounce, I guess, and my last name, Coley. I make a whopping $200,000, and I live on 6206 Bum Street. Now you would have seen in my address, I made my address as 10 varchar. Now if I would have done something like this, where I'm saying ABC Street, Weston, Wisconsin 54476. Well, the first thing I'm going to do is I'm going to insert this, the first one. You would see carefully the second one would not be inserted. The thing is, string or binary data would be truncated. The statement has been terminated. The reason for that was this is more than 10 characters long, and what we set up here was 10 characters. So when you create an address table, please create it bigger than 10. I made a mistake, and hence I would need to drop and recreate the table, which I don't want you guys to do. So I executed all the queries. I will do a select star from dbo.employee, execute it, and voila, we have 3 rows, one for Coley, one for Laney Hayes, one for Scott Kidd. Okay, so this is how we inserted data into the employee table. Now, this is another command. I know we're getting into more querying, but this is, once you do this exercise, you will need delete because you may insert wrong data. So what delete from DB employee will do is it will delete the entire data in this table. 3 rows affected. Now you do a select, nothing. You do an insert for these 3. Wow, we have everything. Easy, huh? Okay, so we're done with inserting data for employee. We minimize that. Now we go into inserting data into supervisor. Now I am not a big fan of putting supervisor in another table, but this will be easier for this class. So I'm going to insert into supervisor values 1 Coley 6206 Bum Street. I open up supervisor. I see, okay, my ID is primary key, first name is 10 characters long, second name is, last name is 10 characters long. I meet those requirements here, yes. Now here address is varchar 250. In the first table I had an oops, so the longer address would fit in here, but that's not how I should have done it. So that was my bad. So I execute this. One row has been executed. Select star from db underscore supervisor. You query this. Wow, I got him. Now again, you can have a delete command. We wouldn't run it. The third thing, let's go to the third table. And the third table, we will be inserting something into the department. Now, as I mentioned above in my document, we work for the IT department, so this will be the IT department we'll be inserting data for. So if you see carefully, first I minimize this, I open up department, I open up the columns for department. Okay, here we have department name, department code, and supervisor ID. We already inserted supervisor in our previous table, so if I do a select star from supervisor, here you go. So the one here would be the one here. Yes, so sorry about that. So the one here, because he's the supervisor, would be the one here for the IT department. So if you see carefully, I said insert into dbo.department, ID, department name, department code, supervisor ID, had those values in. So this is the primary key, which is 1, IT department, the code is 123A, and 1 is a supervisor. So if I execute this, select star from dbo.department, boom, bam, boom. Okay, so now is the most interesting piece. So we have inserted data into department, employee, and department and supervisor. You saw how we inserted data into two different tables which are joined by a foreign key right here, and how we created data or inserted data for a one-to-one relationship. Now we will be generating data. I should have shown you this before. In this table, this table suffices many-to-many relationship between employee and department table. What we did was we inserted data between department and supervisor, which is a one-to-one relationship. That was easy. This is a little tricky, so I will show you how to do that. I've already written the queries for you. So if you copy them, if I copy them, I should rather say, go back to my query, paste them, and I say inserting data into the mapping table. Now the thing is, what this does is 2 dashes does its comments. That means that doesn't get executed on the server. So if you see carefully, insert data into DBO employee XX department, which is the mapping table between employee and department. There are 2 columns. If I can go in that one right here, department ID and employee ID. And I say insert into dbo.exxx values as 1 1. So what does 1 1 mean? So the 1 1 here means the ID 1 in department, which is IT, right? So ID 1 department is IT, I'm sorry. Let's see what's 1 in employee, which is Coley. So that means Coley works for the IT department. Similarly, into DBO, department ID is 1, which is IT. 2, Laney Hayes works for the IT department. Similarly, Scott Kidd works for the IT department when I made this insert statement. What we can also do is if we had two departments, then an employee, if I had another department, let's say finance, and the ID for that would have been 2, we could have said Coley works for both the IT department and the finance department. How would we suffice that relationship is insert into DBO EXE values 2, which is for finance, which would be for finance, and 1, which is still Coley. So we will insert this tape data, got inserted. We will do select, we got to select. Excuse me. Now if you see, this is the child table for both employee and department. So if you try deleting data from employee, it won't get deleted because we have to first delete data from DBO underscore XX underscore department. So I would do that for you. You do this. Okay, it got deleted from the mapping table, and then you do this. Got it? Now I'm gonna insert that back, and I'm gonna insert this back, so we have no confusion whatsoever. Okay, on to our next step. We will be inserting data into project. Okay, so we had 2 projects. OCNS and Discover. So we will open up projects. We have ID, we have project name, project code, start date. I'm not going to insert the end date because there is no end date for this first one. Complete a yes or no. Values are this: 1, discover, 1, 2, 3 is the code. Started today. Has it been completed? No, not yet. So we don't fill anything up. There's another project, OCNS, with a code of 456, and that has been completed, yes, and it got completed today, and it got started last year sometime. So I insert this data. Got it. I select. See, that's how the table looks. Now we're gonna map the project table and the employee table to know how many people work on how many projects. For that, we will be inserting data into this table, which is a many-to-many relationship between employee and project. Okay. So before I go ahead, we know that employee number 1, this is the employee ID, which is coming from the employee table, and employee 1 was Coley, employee 2 was Laney, employee 3 was Scott. So employee 1 is me, employee 2 is Laney, employee 3 is Scott. They worked on, so Coley worked on 1-1 on project Discover, which is 1 here because of project ID coming from the project table. And he also worked on OCNS. Laney also did the same. Laney worked on Discover, and Laney worked on OCNS. Scott, however, he just worked on OCNS. So which to me says is that they could have the many-to-many relationship is one employee, can work on many projects. Many employees can work on the same project, and then we do insert. So that's how a many-to-many relationship suffices. All right, so this is good. We do a select. Well, actually, I should have it here. Yeah. Here we go. So now we have data into all of these tables. I'm gonna save this query. Okay, and I'm gonna create DDL no test db1. I'm gonna create a new folder. I don't even know how to create a new folder. Right there, SQL queries for database app. So always save your queries as well. Oops. And I will do a save here, and which would be right here. If you open it up, there you go. So this is how we insert data into the database. The same table. What I don't know if we have any. Okay, well, that's it, I guess. I would post something new for you if there is any assignment or any lab which you can do with this. Please go and practice this, and the assignments, the questions in your test, the final test, and most importantly, the project would cover all of this. So this is a very important topic which I would like you guys to understand. I will also be posting a YouTube video for Microsoft Access users. If you want to use Microsoft Access, I am not going to give any extra points or additional points if you use both. You can use either Microsoft SQL Server or Microsoft Access. My recommendation is if you know how to use SQL Server, you will know how to use Microsoft Access. But as the class could also teach Microsoft Access or need to teach Microsoft Access, I will also post that video. If you guys want to go through that video, that's up to you guys, but Microsoft SQL Server would be just fine. So please go ahead and practice and wait for my other videos. Thanks. Bye.